PCR. Karim Millis in 1980 discovered the PCR. PCR, P stands for polymerase, CR is chain reaction, polymerase is enzyme, DNA polymerase, and chain reaction means continuous cycle. Enzyme DNA polymerase, it can only bind to 3' OH end, and it synthesizes the DNA, but it can only bind to 3' OH. So to get 3' OH end, we need primer. So requirements for PCR is primer, DNTPs, nucleotides, thermocycler, and DNA polymerase. In the reaction cycle in thermocycler, the first step is denaturation. The denaturation is separation of DNA template at 90 to 95 degrees Celsius for 1 minute. This is DNA, the original target duplex DNA. In the first step, denaturation, the separation of DNA strands at 90 to 95 degrees Celsius, separation of DNA strand. In the second step, annealing, the binding of primer at 55 to 65 degrees Celsius for 1 minute. The binding of primer at 55 to 65 degrees Celsius. Then at third step, extension, addition of nucleotides by polymerase. Addition of nucleotides by polymerase. So at this end, DNA polymerase binds at 70 to 75 degrees Celsius, and in 2 minutes it completes the DNA synthesis at this end and at this end. This is the cycle 1. Same in the cycle second. Same, from single DNA we get 2 DNAs at cycle 1. At cycle 2, from these 2 DNAs, denaturation, annealing, binding of primer, and then binding of DNA polymerase and extension of DNA synthesis. So from 2 DNA there are 4 DNAs at cycle second. So the formula for final number of DNA is NF is equal to Ni into 2 raised to n. NF is final number of DNA, Ni is initial number of DNA into 2 raised to n. N is number of cycle. This is how you calculate the final number of DNA. Every cycle, number of DNA or number of template doubles. So this is PCR.